changed, man. I have changed. There used to be a time when if I stepped foot inside an art store, it was guaranteed that I was gonna come home with at least 5 new art supplies that I'd never tried before. Just a bag full of things that I had no plan of what to do with, I'd never used before, that just looked weird and wonderful to me. And that was a very fun time in my life. And I do have shelves of art supplies now to show for it. And look, it wasn't a waste of money at all, because I think I'm quite proficient in most mediums. I think that's what it did for me. But I don't think it necessarily helped with me honing in on a style, I guess you could say, or sort of focusing on one thing to remove distractions and maybe like get good at one thing, or just to, it was like the jack of all trades, master of none thing. Whereas now I'm very devoted to acrylic painting on canvas. That is my area of interest at this stage of my art life span. And I use a bit of oil too, but mainly acrylics and acrylic related stuff, acrylic inks, acrylic paint, and a bit of oils. So when I go to the art store, I usually buy brushes, canvases, or acrylic paint, mediums, and sometimes some oil paint. I don't often branch out and try new supplies, but every now and then I do, because I'm just like, you know what, who cares? You know, I've got 30 bucks to burn and I want to try something new. And so that is kind of what I did when I bought these. Went to my art store and they had the single Gansai Tambi pans, and I've never seen those before. I have for years. I've seen the palettes and I've always been quite intrigued by them. And by intrigued, I mean, I thought the pans looked kind of delicious and I wanted to eat them. But I never wanted to buy the whole set. Up until kind of recently when those new, I think it's like an Art Nouveau set came out. I think that's what it is. The colours are really pretty. But I just never done it, you know, I've never done it. I sort of have stopped that spending on stuff that I'm not going to use all the time, so I haven't done it. But I decided to buy a couple because I saw the singles for the first time. So that is what this video is. It's me trying them out. I swatch them in a couple different sketchbooks and then I create a piece in one of my sketchbooks. I really don't like the piece that I created, but this is what a sketchbook is for. So I'm a firm believer in encouraging people, like, what you create, like your content, your art, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just, if you don't like it, it doesn't matter. Just, you created it, now share it, and then move on and do something new. Don't stress about it. Don't overthink, you know? So I'm practicing what I preach. This video almost didn't make it, let me tell you. I've had microphone issues, which is why I'm not using a microphone right now. My microphone is sitting up there on my shelf and it's emanating evil because I do not know how to get this thing to sound good. Stress me out. And so there's some like sort of sound quality issues in this. I have to jump into voiceover, and I have me talking real time, then a bit of voiceover, and it's good. It's fine, it's good. It's not perfect, but I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you know, if one person gets inspired to be like, this woman, she's a mess. She is a mess. She needs to get her shit together. But she's still posting videos and making videos and making content, making art. Maybe I can too. If one person thinks that, then it's all worth it. But yeah, another interesting thing about this video is that I found an amazing dupe for a really expensive watercolour. One of my favourite Daniel Smith watercolours I found a dupe for, and it surprised the heck out of me. So I've got timestamps down below, so whatever part of the video you want to skip to, you can do that. If you want to skip to that dupe part, feel free. But if you do want to watch the whole video, that would mean a lot to me. And like, comment, subscribe for more art videos, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Okay. So first things first, let's get these unwrapped. Now I have noticed that they've got colour numbers on them, but they don't, oh, actually this one has a colour name, but like this one only has like the number. So I can't remember what colours I actually got, what the names were. Oh, okay, so most of them say, that's good, that's good. So far it's only this one that doesn't say. And this one here. Oh, so these three have no names, just numbers, and these all have names. So first of all, I think I'm going to swatch them, and then I'm going to look up what the names are for the ones that don't have them. And I think I'm going to swatch them on each type of paper. Maybe not all the colours on each paper, but I do want to see how they act on different papers. We've got my stone paper sketchbook, Karst stone paper A4 sketchbook, Studio Series mixed media sketchbook, and a Paper House Watercolour 300 GSM, like spiral bound sketchbook. None of them are 100% cotton, so maybe that would be something interesting to try too, but these are sketchbooks I use a lot, so I figured they'd be the good ones to swatch in. So, let's start with this one. Okay. Oh, how about I give you guys a little sneak peek of the sketchbooks while we're here. Alright, there we go. Now, I'm gonna spray them with water. I've never used them before, so a little bit dusty. I don't know how they wet or anything, so let's see. One of them's a little bit cracked, but it's not really a problem. Ooh, okay. That's super interesting. Alright, I don't know if you guys could see that, but when I sprayed those, you couldn't really, like before I sprayed them, you couldn't really tell what those three colours looked like. But as soon as I sprayed them with water, I can now see that this is like the greenish colour. I think this is like a purpley, a dark, oh, I think this is the graphite one that I got, a graphite tint colour, and this is purple. So that's super interesting, and that's good because I kind of forgot which colours are which. So, yeah, I'm just going to swatch them out as they are here. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty. That is pretty. Oh. Yeah, that's a cute pink. So, you guys probably already know. I feel like I'm the last to try these paints. I feel like everyone on YouTube's tried them already. But these aren't like typical watercolors in the way that we think of them like in the West. They're Japanese made, and they do act slightly differently than our normal watercolours. So I think it just means they're kind of more matte and a bit more opaque. So I don't think they're as transparent as normal watercolour, but I think it might be interesting. I think you might be able to, because they're more opaque, I think I might like them as someone who paints a lot with acrylics, because I feel like you'd be able to get some more opaque layering happening. So now I'm not saying the colours, like what the colours are yet, because I'm gonna look up what these other ones are first. So we'll come back and I'll tell you what each colour is called. Ooh, that's pretty. That's pretty. It's interesting, they're getting some sort of granulation happening, I guess. It's probably just the texture of the paper. It's not a lot, but it's quite nice. I do like that. So I've wanted to try these paints for a while, but I didn't necessarily want to buy like a full set. So the local art store here actually has like all the singles, which is super cool. So I bought 8 this time, and I just like colours that sort of called to me, and colours that I thought, okay, I could do a couple things with these. You know, I could do portraits, or I could do, you know, I've got like sort of a range of colours I can do things with. Okay, I hope that focusing issue wasn't too annoying. I hope I fixed it now. Sorry about that. I'm glad I noticed though. If it was zooming in and out, I'm gonna have to look at the footage when I go back, but hopefully I fixed it. Okay, so this is the green that I got. Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I love that. Super muted and like, kind of like just like a blackened green. That's pretty. Pretty. Ooh, that, oh, these are always one of my favorite colors. It's just like, it's like Moon Glow from Daniel Smith, if you know that, or like muted gray from Liquitex. It gives me that vibe. Maybe a bit warmer than muted gray, but ooh, yes, I love those. So moody, pretty. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. I love purple. Purple is one of my favorite colors. That is so pretty. That's stunning. Ooh, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, that's quite pretty. I think this is a little bit more transparent, this blue. Maybe I just need to get a little bit more on the brush. I can definitely already feel what pigments are more opaque and what probably have more of like a white. They have a white pigment in them, like these pinks, this color here. Yeah, this to me feels a bit more like traditional watercolor, this blue. Oh, pretty. Okay, now I'm going to find out the names of these and I'm going to come back so I can tell you. Okay, so these are the colours. We've got Cherry Blossom Pink, coral pink, Mars yellow, flax beige, graphite green, graphite red, cobalt violet, and cobalt blue. Cute. So kind of wish I left some more space because I want to do some like mixing and see what colours I can come up with, but I might just do some tiny little swatches down here just so I can get like a quick idea of what's possible with these. Let's do some cherry blossom pink. And cobalt violet. Okay, just sort of pastelizes the violet a bit. Don't know why I thought it was going to do something crazy. Let's put a bit more pink in there because I think that purple is quite strong. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, you can definitely see that it makes the colours a lot more opaque. It's a super pretty colour. Let's go with some, while we're on cherry blossom pink. Actually, let's do coral pink. Some coral pink. And some Mars yellow. Nice, so it just sort of tones down that yellow, the Mars yellow a bit. It's pretty. Cobalt blue and graphite green. How about we do that? So as you can see, I'm just like mixing the swatches directly on the paper. I could get a palette, but I kind of like what happens when you do this. You get some sort of like unexpected, I guess kind of patchy and uneven results, which I like personally. And you can sort of see how the two colours mix together. I didn't purposely buy these colours with the thought of like, oh, they're going to mix really well. I just bought some colours that I liked pretty much and tried to get sort of like, I don't know, just like a little bit of a range, just try out some different colours. Let's see, like graphite red. Okay, it's real dark. And flax beige maybe. Maybe for some like skin tony type things, how this will work. Very interesting. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Maybe we'll do graphite green and flax beige. Maybe it'll take the green a little bit more in like a yellowy direction. We'll see. Yeah, just sort of dirties down that green. Like lightens it up a bit, but yeah, makes it a bit more, I don't even know. I don't know how to describe it. Let's do some cobalt blue and flax beige. Interesting, even though that flax beige is a lighter colour, the white pigments in it definitely are definitely quite strong, I'd say. Maybe we'll do some, let's see what graphite red and Mars yellow looks like together. Okay, that graphite red is definitely way stronger. Maybe these tones wouldn't be for everyone, and I do kind of wish I got some brighter colours as well, like maybe a brighter green, maybe a bright red, maybe even like a yellow, but I also do really quite like these interesting, like muted, kind of earthy, maybe not earthy, but just, yeah, just the colours are super interesting to me. I'm feeling quite inspired to create something with these. What else? Let's do, what are we gonna do? Let's do cherry blossom pink and cobalt blue. Yeah, that's pretty. Very pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the swatches in those other two sketchbooks, and I'll come back and we'll have a look to see like what these paints look like on different papers.
So I'm swatching now in my mixed media sketchbook, and I've swapped to voiceover because I was having some technical difficulties with my camera when I was filming this. So long story short, it's voiceover me. I do kind of prefer, actually no, I don't know if I prefer voiceover or talking in real time at this point. But anyway, I digress. I'm doing the swatches on the mixed media paper, which has less of a tooth than the watercolor paper. And I think the swatches ended up looking a little bit dull on that paper. So obviously they're not meant for watercolor, specifically that paper. So that's probably why. Now this is my stone paper sketchbook. And I decided to do some swatches in this one too. Mainly just for fun. Because look, this paper is not, it's not really intended for anything. I don't know what it's intended for really. Pencils are quite nice on it, like graphite, but even then there's issues. It's fun paper, is what I'm going to say. It's fun, but all mediums on it work strangely, which is why, so you can see this little swatch here. It's like it didn't want to, it's like the paper was specifically rejecting a pigment in that dark green. But I wanted to use this paper just to see how they'd go, and because I haven't used a sketchbook in a while. And it is a fun sketchbook. It's just something that is very experimental. So would I use them again on this paper? Maybe not, just like most watercolors. They take forever to dry. Like they take like, I don't know, probably like a day to dry. So, you know, it's not the most practical thing in the world, but I like the sketchbook a lot for acrylics and for like pencils and stuff is kind of fine. But I'm not necessarily going to go and use them again specifically in that sketchbook. For large areas, I might use them for smaller areas. But yeah, again, that sketchbook's not made for watercolor or really wet media, so it's not the sketchbook's fault. It's a really fun sketchbook. and I would recommend trying out stone paper at least once if you haven't. So I'm going in on the actual like piece now, and look, as you can see here, this paper, on the edge of that paper, there was something like a bit of glue or something on the paper that wouldn't let me, like it was resisting paint. So that was a little bit annoying. I haven't come across that issue in this sketchbook yet, but I did on this page. There was something there, and you can see the paint is sort of, it's rejecting the paint in that area. So anyway, despite that, I do really like this sketchbook, and out of the 3 that I used, this had the best swatches for this paint, which I kind of knew that was going to be the case anyway. It's a watercolor sketchbook, and these are watercolor or watercolor adjacent paints. So I knew I was going to do my finished piece in this sketchbook. So I just went in with pencil and did my sketch and jumped straight in with the paint with no plan of what I was going to do. I didn't have a value study. I never really do those, if I'm going to be honest. But I didn't have any plan of what I was going to do. And did that bite me in the butt? Yeah, it did. But this, you know, it's just in a sketchbook. This is something I was just doing to play with the paints and something quick too. So I wasn't expecting, you know, a masterpiece. I know myself, I know the mood that I was in, which is it was an impatient mood. It wasn't a let's sit down and focus and paint for 4 hours mood. It was I just kind of wanted to slap some paint down and have some fun. So this piece is not, you know, like I said in the beginning, I don't like it, but that doesn't matter. You don't have to like all your art. That's not the most important thing. So could I have been a bit more, could I have planned a bit more? Yes. But I still had a lot of fun. I tried to play with most of the colours and use most of the colours in the piece. The colours aren't a cohesive palette, so that's probably another reason why I'm not a big fan of the painting. And I did also try out layering these paints, as some of them are more opaque. So unlike traditional watercolor, which, you know, you need to go from light to dark. You can't really layer light on top of dark. It's not going to work. But with these, I thought, okay, there might be some opportunity for layering light on top of dark. So I do a little bit of that. It does work to a degree. I think obviously it's my first time using them, and I'd need to play around with them more and maybe get some more colors to try it out with and to play with. Yeah, it does work. It's possible. Do I think I achieved something nice looking by doing that? No. No, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So I do go in at the end, you'll see, with some mixed media little bits and pieces because I couldn't help myself. I probably overworked this piece and underworked at the same time. Weird combination, but if other artists out there, you can probably relate when you feel like you've underworked it because you've been lazy, but you also feel like you've overworked it because from that laziness, you just keep adding things and chucking things on and trying things out and, you know, doing all sorts of weird things to make it work, when in reality you should have just maybe been a bit more thoughtful from the beginning. But that's the fun of a sketchbook, and I do like the concept of this piece. I like the crouching woman and the foliage at the front that sort of is like a bit of it's dark, so it looks like an outline, like it's like in shadow, and then, you know, the body of water and then the moon. I think that's a cool concept. So, you know, not all is a loss. Now, I'm not exactly going to go out and buy more of these paints now. I do really like them. I think they're fun. But like I mentioned at the start of the video, my focus is really on canvas paintings, on acrylics, some oils. You know, that's my area of interest for now at the moment. So where my money goes is towards those materials. So I'm not exactly going to run out to get more colours. I do think it would be fun to have some more because I don't think I have enough. You know, I only got 8. I didn't plan this. I just picked them up on a whim. So I would definitely love to use them more. I might grab them out for my sketchbook, especially those graphite colours, because I think they would even make nice just monochromatic paintings, just using one of those colours. I think they would be quite nice. So I'll use them in my mixed media stuff, in my art journals, in my sketchbook, none of which I use enough. I don't sketchbook or art journal very often these days, but I would like to. I want to get more into it, back into it a little bit. So I'll use these for that. I did really enjoy using them. Quite interesting. So I'll leave you here now so you can watch the end of the video, watch me paint in peace, put a little bit of music on, and yeah, thank you for watching the video. And let me know in the comments if you've tried these before. They've been out for ages, years and years and years, so I know a lot of people have them. And if you have any like special ways you like to use them, or little tips and tricks, or any other artists that you know that use them really cool, and I can go check out their work. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye. So before we get into the finishing touches on the artwork, here is the dupe. We've got the dupe, guys. We've got the Daniel Smith dupe. So for some reason, I had it in my head thinking that this was going to be a dupe for Daniel Smith's Moonglow, which is probably one of my favorite paints of all time. But it's not. Moonglow is more purple. I was thinking of Shadow Violet. So Graphite Red by Gansai Tambi is a really amazing dupe for Shadow Violet by Daniel Smith. Now, when I googled both of these paints, the first result that I got was the Gansai Tambi pan was about $4, and Shadow Violet, a tube of it, I think it's the full size 15 ml, is like $28. So there's a major price difference. You'll see in the swatches here, they don't look exactly the same, but in the swatches that I did earlier, the Graphite Red does look a lot darker. I don't know, I think it's like I mixed a little bit too much water with this swatch here. But my point being is, it is so extremely close, it blew my mind. And even though those two swatches didn't look exactly the same, you can get the same look, and the price difference is just mind-blowing. So anyway, that just blew my mind. and I really wanted to share it because I've never seen anyone talk about it or heard about it. So there you go.
Tell you at what point I figured I'd be better wearing hats and shoes that belong to you. For all the lies and itchy feet those parodies had given me, at least I now know my own body. Daydreaming who I'll be next time I'm wandering. There are things that I could say to melt the world and break your brain and heart. So I don't know why I'm afraid to speak or cause alarm. You deserve the kind of love that isn't said in words at all. So get off of the planet if you can't even breathe. Everybody in this place is dressed up like the person to their left, and why is that? Oh, why is that? Katie's got a beauty mark that makes the right one hold their heart, but she's covered it all up to look like Esther. Pretty as a silver painted aster. There are things that I could say to melt the world and break your brain and heart. So I don't know why I'm afraid to speak or cause alarm. You deserve the kind of love that isn't said